If one day you're driving a familiar route and suddenly everything ahead looks just a little blurrier, not because it's getting dark, but because your eyes don't keep up the way they used to. Or when you're in the middle of a conversation with a loved one, you know exactly what you want to say. But the words don't come in time. That's not a rare moment. That's a signal. After the age of 60, many people believe slower thinking, weaker vision. That's just part of aging. But what few people tell you is this: your brain isn't just getting older. It's running low on the fuel it needs to function properly. And your eyes are no different. They're not simply weakening. They're no longer receiving the nutrients that once kept them sharp and responsive. What's unfortunate is that for many years, we've unknowingly removed the very thing our brain and eyes need most, simply because we were told it wasn't good for our health. But what if you could reverse part of that gradual decline? What if your memory could feel clearer? If your eyes could feel less strained, less blurry? Just by changing what you eat each day. In this video, I'm going to share with you 4 specific types of fats. Not the kind you've been warned about, but the kind that can nourish your brain, protect your vision, and support your body's natural repair process while you sleep. Sometimes real change doesn't begin in a clinic. It begins right on your plate. Before we go into each one, let's first understand why fat plays such a critical role in your brain and eye health. So first, we need to revisit a fundamental truth that many people have unknowingly overlooked. Your brain and your eyes cannot function optimally without fat. It may sound contrary to what you've been told, but the reality is that your brain is made up of nearly 60% fat. Not the unhealthy fats from fried foods, but the healthy fats that help maintain the structure and function of every nerve cell. Imagine your brain cells like electrical wires. Surrounding them is a protective layer, and that layer is largely made of fat. When you're younger, this layer is soft and flexible, allowing signals to travel quickly and clearly. But over time, if it's not properly nourished, it begins to dry out and lose flexibility. And that's when you may start to feel slower in your responses, have trouble focusing, and notice your memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. Your eyes are no different. The retina, the part that receives light and sends signals to the brain, contains a high concentration of DHA, a special type of fat. When levels are low, your ability to process visual information declines, making it easier to experience blurriness, glare, or difficulty seeing clearly in low-light conditions. Not only that, but essential eye-supporting vitamins like A, D, and E are all fat-soluble. This means that without enough healthy fat in your diet, no matter how well you eat, your body won't be able to properly absorb and utilize these nutrients. And this is exactly what has happened to many people over the years. We were told to cut back on fat, but never taught how to distinguish between the fats we need and the ones we should avoid. Once you understand this, you begin to see fat in a completely different light. And the first one I want you to think about. It's not something rare or expensive, but a very familiar food that many people have overlooked: the avocado. What makes avocados so special isn't just their creamy texture or rich taste, but the type of fat they provide. Oleic acid, a monounsaturated fat that directly supports brain function. As we age, the membranes of our nerve cells become less flexible, like a door that hasn't been oiled in years, opening slowly with a slight creak. Oleic acid acts like a natural lubricant, helping signals in the brain move more smoothly. But that's not all. Avocados are also rich in lutein, a powerful antioxidant that tends to accumulate in both the retina and the brain. What's interesting is that lutein from whole foods like avocados is highly bioavailable, meaning your body can absorb and use it efficiently. This helps improve visual processing and enhances visual sensitivity, especially in low-light conditions or during prolonged screen use. A study published in Nutrients found that older adults who included avocados in their daily diet for several months experienced noticeable improvements in memory and reaction speed. This isn't magic. It's simply the result of giving the brain the raw materials it has been missing. I once worked with a woman named Linda, 68 years old. She told me she had started to lose confidence driving at night. The glare from oncoming headlights bothered her, and focusing had become more difficult. After adjusting her diet, she began adding just half an avocado to her breakfast each morning. After about 2 months, she told me something simple but powerful. I don't avoid driving at night anymore. Not because of anything dramatic, but because her eyes felt less strained and her mind was more alert in handling situations. Another benefit that often goes unnoticed is that avocados help your body better absorb key vitamins like A and E, nutrients that protect the retina from oxidative damage. In other words, when you eat avocado, you're not only getting direct benefits, but also enhancing the effectiveness of other foods in your meal. And the best part is how simple it is to use. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet. Just half an avocado a day, with eggs in the morning, added to a salad, or even eaten with a pinch of salt, is enough to start supplying your brain and eyes with incredibly valuable nutrition. And when you begin to notice small changes, like thinking a little more clearly or your eyes feeling a little less tired, that's when you realize something important. Sometimes real improvement doesn't come from complicated solutions, but from simple, consistent choices made every day. Next, we'll talk about another type of fat, one that not only nourishes the brain, but also acts as a natural shield to protect both your memory and your vision over time. Number 2, extra virgin olive oil. What makes olive oil truly special isn't just its healthy fat content, but also a group of compounds that often go unnoticed yet are incredibly valuable. Polyphenols. These are natural antioxidants that help reduce inflammation and protect cells from damage over time, especially in the brain and the retina, which are constantly under stress from metabolic activity and light exposure. As we age, one of the silent contributors to memory decline is low-grade chronic inflammation. You may not feel it, but internally, your nerve cells are gradually being worn down. The polyphenols in olive oil act like a cleanup crew, neutralizing free radicals and calming this inflammatory process, helping maintain a more stable environment in the brain. A study published in Annals of Clinical and Translational Neurology found that incorporating extra virgin olive oil into the diet may help reduce the buildup of proteins associated with memory decline, while also improving learning and memory over time. This suggests that olive oil doesn't just protect, it actively supports better brain function. When it comes to your eyes, the benefits are just as important. The retina is one of the most energy-demanding tissues in the body, which makes it especially vulnerable to oxidative stress. The compounds in olive oil help protect the structure of the retina, supporting the thickness and function of light-sensing cells, key factors in maintaining stable vision as you age. I once worked with a man named Richard, 72 years old. He didn't have any serious issues, but often mentioned that his mind didn't feel as sharp as it used to, and his eyes would get tired when reading in the evening. Interestingly, he didn't make major changes. He simply started adding 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil to his lunch each day, replacing processed dressings. After a few weeks, he told me he felt lighter mentally, experienced less fatigue when reading, and even slept more deeply. Small changes, but very real. One important thing to keep in mind, not all olive oils are the same. The most beneficial type is extra virgin, cold-pressed, and unrefined. And how you use it matters. It's best consumed raw, drizzled over vegetables, salads, or added after cooking. High heat can significantly reduce those valuable polyphenols. With just 1 to 2 tablespoons a day, you can build a strong layer of protection for both your brain and your eyes, quietly, gradually, but powerfully over time. And if olive oil is the shield, then the next type of fat we'll explore is something even more fundamental, the very building material your brain and retina are made from. Number 3, omega-3. What many people don't realize is that a large part of the structure of both the brain and the eyes is actually made up of DHA. This isn't just a supplement, it is a physical component of your nerve cells and light-sensing cells. When your body lacks DHA, the connections in your brain become less efficient, like an electrical system that has worn down over time. Another type of omega-3, EPA, plays the role of a regulator, helping to control inflammation in the body. And as we've seen, silent inflammation is one of the key factors that accelerates memory decline and vision problems, often without us even noticing. A study published in the Journal of Neuroscience found that DHA supplementation can enhance communication between brain cells, improving memory and processing speed in older adults. At the same time, clinical trials have shown that omega-3 can help stabilize the tear film, reduce dry eyes, and improve visual clarity when taken consistently over time. I remember a case involving a woman named Helen, 70 years old. She didn't have any major health issues, but often experienced dry, irritated eyes by the end of the day, and her memory felt inconsistent. Clear one moment, foggy the next, as she described it. After reviewing her diet, we realized she had barely eaten fish for years. She began taking omega-3 daily and added salmon to her meals twice a week. After about 6 to 8 weeks, she told me, "I don't have to blink constantly when I read anymore, and my mind feels less foggy in the afternoons." It wasn't an instant change, but a gradual rebuilding process from within. What's important to understand is that most older adults today are not getting enough omega-3. Modern diets are often heavily imbalanced, with far more omega-6 than omega-3, which makes inflammation more likely. That's why being intentional about intake is so important. You can get omega-3 from natural sources such as fatty fish, salmon, sardines, mackerel. Or if you don't eat fish regularly, a high-quality fish oil supplement is a good option. The commonly recommended intake is around 800 milligrams of DHA plus 400 milligrams of EPA per day to support brain and eye health. One small but important tip: omega-3 should be taken with a meal that contains fat to improve absorption. And always choose products that are properly tested to ensure they are free from heavy metals. When you provide your body with enough omega-3, you're not just supplementing, you're rebuilding the foundation of your brain and vision from the inside out. And once you have the right building materials in place, the next question becomes, how do you nourish and sustain that system consistently, day after day? That's where a traditional fat, simple, often overlooked, begins to play a very unique role. Number 4, ghee. Unlike many modern fats that are heavily processed, ghee is a traditional fat that has been used for centuries across different cultures. What makes ghee unique isn't just its stability in cooking, but the presence of butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid with profound effects on the brain. Butyrate doesn't work like a typical supplement. It acts more like a signal that helps the body activate its natural repair mechanisms. In the brain, butyrate can support the formation of new nerve cells and improve the function of the hippocampus, the area primarily responsible for memory. A study published in Nature Neuroscience showed that compounds related to butyrate can enhance memory and learning, especially in the context of aging. Beyond the brain, ghee also plays an important role in supporting eye health in a very practical way that many people can actually feel. One of the most common issues among older adults is dry eyes, a sensation of irritation, grittiness, or fatigue when reading for extended periods. This isn't just caused by the environment, but also by a lack of essential fats needed to maintain a stable tear film. Ghee, with its easily absorbed fats, helps the body rebuild and stabilize this protective layer, reducing discomfort and improving eye comfort during prolonged use. I once worked with a man named Thomas, 74 years old. He followed what many would consider a clean diet, very low in fats, mostly boiled and steamed foods. However, he often complained of feeling tired in the mornings, and his eyes were frequently dry, especially when reading or watching TV. After making a simple adjustment, he began adding a small amount of ghee to his meals, just lightly sautéing vegetables or mixing it into warm porridge. After a few weeks, he shared that he felt warmer, more comfortable overall, and most noticeably, his eyes were no longer as dry. Another advantage of ghee is its high heat stability. Unlike many oils that oxidize easily when heated, ghee maintains its structure, allowing you to cook without losing nutritional value. This is important because when fats are damaged by high temperatures, they can become harmful instead of beneficial. You don't need much. Just 1 to 2 teaspoons per day, added to familiar foods like vegetables, eggs, or warm grains, is enough to make a difference over time. Ghee isn't a new trend, nor is it a heavily marketed superfood. But its simplicity and consistency are exactly what make it so valuable in supporting both brain and eye health, especially when your body needs gentle, ongoing support. And when you bring all of these elements together, from building to protection to restoration, you begin to realize something important. Caring for your brain and eyes doesn't have to be complicated. It just needs to be consistent and done right every day. At this point, you might be thinking, I understand, but where do I start? The good news is, you don't need to overhaul your entire diet. Just follow a simple daily rhythm. In the morning, start gently with half an avocado to wake up your brain. At lunch, add a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil to your vegetables or your usual meal. In the evening, if you're not eating fish, take an omega-3 supplement with your meal. And throughout the day, use a small amount of ghee in your cooking to steadily nourish your body. It doesn't have to be perfect, just repeat it daily. Because it's consistency, not complexity, that creates lasting improvements in your memory and vision. There's one thing I want you to remember after everything we've talked about. Aging is natural, but decline is not always inevitable. Your brain can still adapt, your eyes can still be supported, and your body, no matter your age, continues to respond to what you give it each day. You don't need complicated or expensive solutions. Sometimes it's just small choices in your daily meals, repeated consistently over time. So here's a simple challenge for you. For the next 7 days, try adding at least 2 of these 4 healthy fats into your meals each day. It doesn't have to be perfect, just start. And pay attention to how you feel. Is your thinking a little clearer? Do your eyes feel more comfortable? If you're on a journey to take better care of your health, share your experience in the comments. I'd truly love to hear your story. And if this video gave you a new perspective, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can continue this journey together, step by step, toward a clearer mind and a more vibrant life.